Hello, how are we all today? Thank you so much for coming to the channel and thank you for checking this video out. So this video is going to be part 1 of me creating a Luke Skywalker lightsaber. Now I do have the Empire Strikes Back Luke Skywalker lightsaber. This is not going to be that model, this is going to be the other one with the green blade. Now I did think about different design originally, but to be honest, this is the one I really want to make. It's one that I have wanted to make for years and it has stumped me for absolutely ages on how I could actually make this particular lightsaber. I get asked about it an awful lot of time and it suddenly came to me and I was able to source the parts that I needed and it just all kind of worked out really well. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be going over all the parts that I need to create this lightsaber, and I'm going to take you on the journey of exploration on how this is done and how my crazy mind works to work out how these things go together. None of this has been pre-planned or set up. Literally I have got the tubes that I need. They have just been delivered, which is great. I have now got this wonderful camcorder, which I placed the order on eBay for this guy, and it literally turned up the next day. So that is now allowing me to do these really good videos. The audio on this camera is fantastic, and I'll be honest, the picture is really good. It might not be 4K quality. I am sorry, I don't have the budget for 4K at the moment. I don't make a huge amount of money on the lightsabers, and we don't make huge amounts of profit. We make very little profit doing what I do, because the vast majority of the lightsabers I sell as low as I possibly can, because everyone should be able to enjoy a lightsaber. It shouldn't be just for those who are super rich or have just a huge amount of expendable wealth. If you are one of those people, you know, I'm very happy for you, that's great. But I have never been one of those in that particular category, and I've never been able to afford amazing lightsabers. When I started doing lightsabers, the only options available were in America, and I just couldn't push myself to spend as much money as it was needed at that time, 7 to 10 years ago, to buy one of these lightsabers. If something ever went wrong with them, you know, it would be an absolute nightmare to try and get it sorted. Whereas, you know, I decided to start creating them myself. So anyway, now that little bit of a bump is out of the way, I will be going to the next part of this video where I'm going to be showing you the parts that I have to put everything together, and you might be able to get to figure out straight away, but we'll see. Just so you are aware, before I get to that, when I am doing things that are very loud, so when I'm doing the meter saw, I will automatically adjust the volume on the recording so it's a lot quieter, because it is so loud, it's deafeningly loud, and I know you don't want that coming through there. Also, if there's anything else that's going to be really loud on video, then I will reduce the volume on that as well. So let's go and see what parts I have. Hello there, and here we have all the parts that we're going to need to make this new lightsaber. So this is going to be the main body of the core. All the detailed parts and all the sections are going to go over this. So this is going to be one of the more important parts. This is what's going to go over this part here. So this is going to go inside here, or this is going to go over that. And what will happen is I'm going to cut this into sections. Each section will be for the really big main body of the hilt. So one will be about that bit, and that'll be having the lines going across it like this. That'll be for the switch section. That'll be for the bit below the switch section, and that'll be for the pommel. So we'll be using about this much of the material. This is actually very expensive because it's a 3.6mm wall. It's a lot more money than just a normal tube. So these two are the main body of the hilt. Now the tricky thing is, I want to make the Luke Skywalker lightsaber with the green blade, and it has a very thin neck, and here's the problem. for a very, very long time, I've known that it's very, very hard to be able to get something that has a thin neck like this piece here to be really, really secure and to fit really snugly. So there's no wobble, there's no movement or anything like that. That is really, really hard. So what I've done is I've bought this tube, which will then go inside this one here, and this one will then go inside this tube here. And I know that sounds a bit crazy and a bit all, oh god, well that's a lot of messing around, but each one of these tubes here, each one of these are slightly out of sync with the other one. So this one is slightly larger than the hole for this one here. I'll put it in order, sorry. So this one is slightly, the outer diameter is slightly larger than the inner diameter of this tube, and the same between these two. So the outer diameter is slightly too big for the inner diameter of this one. Because of that, that means I'm going to have to just ever slow by fractions, just manage these down to the point where not only do they fit in, but it's a case that I have to, for lack of a better word, get a hammer and whack them into place. But by doing that, by having such a tight fit, it gives me two things. One, it means I won't need to have rivets in these sections. And two, the fit will be so strong, I won't ever worry about it coming undone. I will, however, put 4 rivets in through these just to make sure it never falls apart. I don't want to use glue because glue, over time, it can fail. It will weaken over time, even 2-part epoxies. So that is the plan. So I think the very first thing we need to do is I need to work out the actual sizes of what's going to be cut. So I have my pen here. Now I know that the switch section is going to be 50mm. That's a standard switch section size, something I use all the time. So I'm going to get my calipers. Where did I put the calipers? Sorry about that, found the calipers. So I've got my calipers. I'm going to get this to 50mm, which is here. Get my pen, and we're going to mark out 50mm on here now. So that's 50mm. And I know there's about 2mm cut. So when this goes on the meter saw, the meter saw blade is 2mm, so every cut you lose 2mm for every cut out of the material. We then have a section which is going to be the pommel, which I want the pommel to be 30mm, so 30mm. Oops. So there's 30mm. And that's going to be one cut. So I'm going to cut these two pieces together. So I'll cut it once, and then I can put this on the metal lathe and actually bore out the internal diameter so that it fits over this. I'll put that there for you now. And then there's another section which is going to be the emitter housing, and I think I want that to be 70mm. So I'll put 70mm here. Okay, so switch section, pommel, thingy thing, the thing that has lots of lines going across it, and then the only other part I need is, I'd say 40mm for this, and 40mm for that section. Now, so that is the main body of the handle, and that entire length is sorry, I should have brought a ruler. So this whole length is 90.5cm, or just under 8 inches. Now typically I like to go to about 11 inches on a lightsaber. That's going to be near pixel and have all the bells and whistles. So how much further can we go? So it gives me a good 3 inches. Okay, right. So I'm going to put that to the side for now. Now I want this to fit inside each other enough that it's going to be really, really secure. And vice versa, each one into that. So, if I did 10mm or 10 centimeter, 10mm or 1 centimeter, that's going to be far too thin. I think we need to do at least 20. So we need to do 20mm there, there, and there. And at the other end we'll also have another 20mm. Now, how long do I want this to be? We've got about 3 inches. I'd say, let's see, is 2.5 too much, or? So there's going to be a section in the middle as well. Actually, we'll standardise it. So we'll have 1 inch where we'll put the middle of it, because the middle thing is going to be a centimetre. So there we are. So if I just mark that area there, I know that is going to be the thing. And how far have we got from one to the other? Okay. So I think what we have to do is we'll mark 1 inch here, like so, and we'll go for 1 centimetre from there onwards. Yep, I like that. And then we'll go back to 1 inch from here, which is there. Yeah, that looks good. It looks good. And then we cut here. Okay, so we're going to have this section here. This section here is going to be in the next piece of metal, and this section here is going to be in the next piece of metal at the top. Here we're going to have the bit that goes round the centre, which will look really cool. So that's that done. So we've got 20mm to cut out here, and there's a 2mm cut, and then we want to go another 20mm, and another 20mm here. Okay, perfect. So we now know what we want to cut. I'm going to put all this together. So if we put this here, and we're just going to say that's the whole length. This will be inside that, so that'll be there. And what's this complete length altogether? That's 11. So it's going to be just over, it's going to be maybe 12.5, 13 inches long in total. I know that's quite big, but I think it'll work. As we go along, we can adjust and change things as we need and see fit. But for now, I think that's going to be okay. So I'm going to go to the next part of the video now, which is me cutting all these parts out. I will reduce the volume on this so that you can't get, so you won't deafen you. So I'll see you there in a moment. And now we have the small emitter ready. Right, so I've got the earplugs in now. These are actually noise cancelling. They're very, very good for doing work with the meter saw and that sort of thing. So we have now got the main body cut, and over this we'll have this section, which is going to have all the ribs in it. That might be too long, I don't know. Anyway, we then have this part, which is for the switch and a little bit below the switch, which is fine. And then we have the pommel as well, which will go at the base here. So that all lines up nice and neatly, so that's great. Inside of this, we will have this section. So that goes inside here, this goes inside there, and it's all sorted. So that's really, really good. Oops. Did I cut that other part needed? Yeah, I did. Right. Losing my marbles, moving my marbles. Yeah, I made a slight mistake. My own fault. So what I need to do is I need to do a 1 centimetre cut of that and a 1 centimetre cut of this. So I'm going to get my calipers and measure up my caliper to 1 centimetre. There we go. Is that one? That doesn't seem like a centimetre. It wasn't a centimetre, God's sake. Right, so 1 centimetre. 1 centimetre. So we now have these two parts. They will go inside each other and make one solid part, which will then go over the middle section. So to give you an idea, it'll be a bit like that to make that middle bit stand out. So we now have to prep all these parts and sand them all down. So I'm going to go over to the belt sander and I'll see you there. So we've now sanded all these parts, so all the bits that we're going to put on the lathe have been sanded. I have to now deburr all these, so I'm going to do that now. Once these have all been deburred, all the nasty sharp edges on the inside have been taken off, once I've done that, it then means I can then move over to the metal lathe and I can actually start making the internal diameter of this tube larger so that it'll fit snugly over this one. So let's deburr and then we will go over to the metal lathe. Yay! I actually do like the metal lathe. Slow, but enjoy it. Most probably what I'll do in the metal lathe is when we're on there, by the way, is I'll most probably speed up the footage so it's faster, because gosh, it's very slow work. So yep, let's deburr. Toast to the ones that we lost in the way. Bring back all the memories. The memories bring back memories, bring back you. Memories bring back you. The time I remember when I said your name. Never say the same. Right. Say your name. Okay. These two are so closely matched, they want to fit now. Oh, it's so frustrating I can't get these to... We're talking a fraction of a percentage to get them to fit as well. Oh, so annoying. Right, anyway. Let's take these over to the metal lathe. Let's get these all fitting, and let's get to the next big part where, because the part I want to do the ribs on here. That's what I'm looking forward to. And then once they're on, I can't wait to get it on here and just like, it's going to be awesome. Right, to the metal lathe. So we're back. All these parts are now done. I'm going to have to clean up all these parts, take out all the stuff inside them, which is fine. So I'm just going to do that now. Get my towel. Can I get that through? Of course I can't, because I'm an idiot. I was far too ambitious with that. There we go. Okay. So that's that part done. Beautiful, beautiful fit. Same for this part. Yeah, okay. Oof. Yep, that's fine. So we have this part. This is going to be a pain. It is such a tight fit. Follow me. I think we're going to have to take this to ship. Pardon the French, sir. Okay. Can I use a vice to put this together? High-tech stuff here at Sabers, guys. Oh. Try that again. Oh, blooming neck. It's working though. Oh, look at that. Ha ha ha. Hammer. Okay, so that fits inside. That is never ever coming off now. That is just, damn, that was hard. So one of the things I finished off with in part 2 was this really nice part. I really like it, but we need to make this just a fraction bigger so that we can put it over the other part. So I'm just going to adjust this now. That should be it now. Oh, look at that. It does it perfectly. Yay! We have a success. Really happy with that. And then, yeah, that is fantastic. Now, let's start cutting all these parts up, shall we? Okay, so we're at the meter saw and we have got a number of parts to cut. So we have to cut this part. We have to cut this part, which is a pommel. I think it's a switch section as well, isn't it? Yep, so this is a switch section and a pommel, so I'm just going to score a new line. Okay, so I need a piece of metal. Okay, let's mount on. I'll just put that in the back. So here's the main core. This is going to be the ribs, so we'll put that on there first. This is a switch section, so that'll then go on. No, it's not. That's the switch section, sorry, so that'll go on there. This will go on here as a bit below the switch section. And then this is the pommel here. That'll go on at the base. So we have all the parts lined up. Everything's in good alignment. As you can see, there's not really much of a differential gap between these. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it over to the sand. I'm going to sand these down. I think, or might... Actually, I think I'm going to take these to the lathe and actually use a tool to give them a nice, clean, crisp edge on all of these parts, and then use the same tool to do the ribs on here. Yes, that's what we will do. So, the other thing I need to do... Alright, so with this part here, for that to go in, no, I've lost that part I needed. Oops. Oh, it's here. Right. So that'll go in there. I'm not going to push this on properly because I want it to be a proper compression fit. So, but it'll give that's to give you an idea. And then when you put on the other section as well, it should be along those lines. So, let's get these bits cut and edged off, shall we? Right, so we're here now, so I'm going to reduce this in size so these can fit on. We want to put this here, tighten that. And then we're going to loosen this and this. I'll put that there. And I have a a brand new bit. Ooh, I love putting brand new bits on this lathe. And the lathe likes it as well because it's so much happier. So, we have all the parts done. Haven't done the emitter yet, which you'll notice, but we've got the main body done. So, oh, look at that. So nice. That's a switch. that's the other little bit. That's the pommel. This will fit in here. Oops, hang on. Oh, I want to push it on so much. Well, there we are, guys. Look at that. I'll put some rivets through here. But that's nice. So nice. One thing, this was the exact right size for this switch section, and then I narrowed it down and it's slightly over, but it's the first one. It's one I've never done before. This all works beautifully. I've pushed this part on there fully, so this is going to go into the handle. This is for the pommel. I haven't done that yet. The pommel will be part 5. I don't know why I'm shouting. Will be part 5. So I need to put 4 holes on this. So I have this previous one, and I know all the holes in here are exact, so I'm going to use this as a reference and a guide. So what? No. There. So now I need to puncture these. I've got a hole punch. Actually, I might not use a hole punch. I might use a manual punch and do it that way. So I'm going to do that now, and you can watch me do it. Right, so we've now got this part done, which goes on here. Well, there you go, clip it in place. So now when this section goes in, it will be riveted in place and it'll stay there, which is good because we don't want it to move. I want to rivet this in place, but I want to glue it in place as well. I can't decide what to do. We'll do the same. We'll drill and rivet that. So I'm not going to show you me doing that on camera. I'll do it off camera. So we'll come back and we'll see this part done when it's shown. So 1 second. Right. So this is now in place. Beautiful. That's what it looks like. Just a tiny little rivet at the back. Nice and flush. Can't really tell. You can tell, but I've been thinking while I've been doing this, what I might actually do is I might actually also weather and age this. It's just telling me it wants to be aged and weathered. So I've got to comply. It's what it wants. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the switch on, drill and tap the switch and get that in place. And then we'll move on to the final part, which will be locking this in place. So excited! Sorry. See you in a second, and I'll be drilling all parts. I am so happy with this. Right. So I think the next thing we need to do is I need to put these grooves on here. Have I convinced you now that I do actually make these by hand? Do you now believe me? You can't not believe me now. I mean, you've seen me just make all this from scratch. I'm sure you've got to believe me. Anyway, I'll see you at the mill and we'll get this part done. Okay, so we're back. This is locked in place. This is locked in place. This is locked in place. This isn't. But we put this on. God, that's a great fit. This is the back. And I know it's not exactly like the ones that everyone else does, but there are limitations to what I can do, unfortunately. And then that'll go on there. If you give me 2 seconds, rather than film it, because all I'm going to do is drill a hole in there and put this in place. I'll do that now and I'll come back and show you what it looks like. 1 second. So there we are. Nice in place. I know, a bit disappointing how messy these are, but I'm hoping when I weather it and age it, it won't be such an issue. So fingers crossed. A bit of loose metal on the side. Just get rid of that now because I don't want that in there because it damages the wires. So yeah, that's it. Right, so we've got this here. This is going to go over that, so it's going to go in there. And typically, from the designs I've seen, I might actually just do a step 2 here and then run the, because it's going to have the blade and everything else in it, so I might run it from there all the way to about there. That's as far as I can really go without it being looking a bit too silly, and that takes it just over 12 inches, so that's not bad. We will run this over it, so that goes from here to there, and then the bigger piece of metal will go over this as well. Help if I mark the right thing. Okay, so next thing, we're going to go to the meter saw and do these. Excellent. Right, so we've got the outer part done, we've got the inner part done for it, and they fit together really well, so I'm very happy. We're going to have to do this part because this will go on top of here and push fit on, so that'll push fit on there. But we have to fit in a 1-inch blade. Now that's too big for the 1-inch blade. This is what I normally use for a 1-inch blade, and as you can see it's very loose in there. So I'm thinking I might mill out the 1-inch amount from here, because that fits in really nicely. And also by doing that, the benefit is it's got all that space to hold on to. It just makes the whole thing way more secure. So I think that's the way to go. So back to the lathe. Okay guys, so we have the main parts for the pummel done, so it'll look like this. First thing we have to do is get this part on here. Let's just check the blade. So this is just a bit of a blade that I have around. Yeah, perfect fit, no wobble, exactly right, beautiful. A bit of oil in here, which is what's that like now? Oh, that's just beautiful. Right. Okay, we're going to have to tap that on with the hammer. Let's go over to the hammer place. Okay. It doesn't even need a rivet, guys. It doesn't need a rivet. It is on. It is never coming off. Now I've got all that space for blade and the electronics. Mwah! Beautiful. Right, the only thing left to do now is to put on the outer shell of this, which is this bit here, and it's finished. So, could possibly get away with this being a bit shorter. I don't know. Anyway, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to finish it off that way. Right guys, so we have it all together. It is basically finished. The only thing left to do for this is I need to put a hole in here so I can put a thread through, and that'll lock the blade in place. I need to just deburr this end like so. Right, I'll just quickly do this now, and then it is finished. And now let's thread it, and we're basically finished. Thank God. It's been a long weekend doing this. So one thing I'd like to ask, guys, is if this is too long, or if you think I should do these sections of the build quicker, speed up through things, things like that, by all means, you know, leave a comment. How would you like me to do these videos in future? Do you want to be a lot quicker? Do you want to have the whole thing in 30 minutes? I mean, I know this is the part 5 of the whole thing. It's just taken a long time to do. Me personally, I think showing you the whole thing from start to finish and talking through what we're doing is a much better way of doing things. Considering I'm the only person I think or know of that's actually doing a lightsaber build in metal from scratch to the very end, so that we end up with something as gorgeous as this is pretty unique. And I would assume, personally for me, you want to know all about it. There we are. The very next thing, weathering it. But yeah, I am very happy with this. I think I might make this fractionally smaller, maybe about that length. But considering this is the very first time I made it, no plans, just a drawing online, or picture online of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, and for me to take that and bring out this, I'm pretty impressed. Very happy. I love this bit. It's brilliant. Feels good. Solid. Super strong. This ain't ever gonna break. Very happy. Very happy. So yeah, I'll come back in a second with it weathered. See you soon. Hello. This is the very end. I said I'd be back with the finished thing, and here it is. This is the hilt, completely finished and weathered and aged, and I think it has come out fantastic. It looks so good. I have to twist it a little bit, but it just looks brilliant. I'm so happy. For the very first time that I've ever done this, and this can hold up to dueling. That's not an issue for me. I am so confident you could duel with this. I wouldn't recommend it because the blade's only going to be in for maybe an inch. That's all the blade's going to get, because you only got that much space inside. But it's just so nice. It's such a nice hilt, and I can't believe how long it's taken me to actually finally do one. And these ribs feel great. Really happy. Really glad I made it. I don't think it'll ever be one I sell on my website. Maybe I should do it, give it away as a competition. You know, if we get to 500 subs and the winner could get one of these. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm doing that. I'm just speaking out loud. But yeah, it'd be nice if I could find material that was bigger than this, so I could have a bigger pommel. At the moment, I don't have that resource. I don't have the ability to see things. So, but yeah, it's just such a nice saber. So happy with how it's turned out. So I hope you have enjoyed. I know it's been long. If there's a way you'd like me to do these, or a way you prefer that I do these videos, put a comment in below. But I hope you enjoyed this. I've had a great time recording this process, showing you how I do these things, proving to all the naysayers that they are handmade from scratch. But yeah, Really, really happy. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will be having some more come out in the near future. I've got 2 daggers, lightsaber daggers that customers asked me to do. So they will be coming out in the future as well. So stay tuned, subscribe, and there'll be more content to follow. Cheers, guys. See you later.